Kevin, man. Appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are y'all?
We're doing outstanding. Kevin is Plainsman Parking Lot, which I'm
Yeah.
assuming is like a parking lot where you guys stand. Just kind of scrolling through your Twitter, it looks like. Talk to
Yeah,
us about that real quick.
yeah, so it's at AUPPL on Twitter, and it's just kind of our thing. We've been doing it for probably almost close to 15 years. So how our stadium is there is a giant parking deck right next to the stadium, right between the baseball stadium, Plainsman Park, and the football stadium, Jordan Hare. And we just go to the top of the parking deck. We all really have tickets, so we'll go in for giveaways and stuff, or if we want food. But we really just tailgate up there, and it's just a big family atmosphere where we're up there. We have our own security folks. We have a few rules. We just try to enforce them. You can't back in, can't sit higher than your waist. Put everything in a cup or a koozie. No glass, no grills. If you want to grill, you can grill down there. But that's just kind of our thing, and that's where it kind of started from when I started writing about Auburn baseball for a blog with Jerry Hennon. That was sort of my way because I was driving from Montgomery, Alabama, to Auburn because that's where I lived. But I was working in Montgomery, and so I would basically just be coming into town right as the game started, and it was easier for me just to stay outside and watch the game than to go inside and try to fight for a seat. And plus, we could bring our own coolers. We'll tailgate. We have TVs and stuff up there. So it's just kind of our thing. We have fun with it. It's very much enjoyable. Kind of adds to the atmosphere. Auburn added a lot to the stadium this year. So now you can sit on top of the wall. So we've got some folks that are kind of at eye level with us, which is kind of cool this year. But yeah, that's where it comes from. Playing the parking lot.
Well,
And
that
also,
sounds eerily similar to our Occupy Left Field, our man Mark Pena right here.
Absolutely. I love that.
It's
Yeah.
really
for
cool
those
to
that
hear
don't,
all these different unique ways the fans enjoy the games. And I've seen some people. We got tickets in right field, down the right field line at the Dish, and there's a parking garage out there in left field, and you see some guys standing up there now, and they probably have for a while. But they stand up at the top of that parking deck. They cannot see the whole field where I think you guys pretty much can.
We've got a good view of everything, and they actually have been gracious enough. We actually have our own little scoreboard that kind of faces us, so we can still
nice.
see the count and everything. Because where we're at, the wall kind of cuts us off, so we can never see the miles per hour. And we normally lose the line score for the first 4 innings, just of how we're angled. So we've got our own little thing down there where we can actually see the score and check it out. We call it our little scoreboard. But yeah, it's our thing. We love it,
Well,
and
awesome.
we just have fun up there.
If you guys ever go to the Auburn game, go check out the Plainsman parking lot and look for Kevin. He won't be hard to find. He's got that big red beard, man. He'll be the big red bearded guy. Check out. Let's talk about this.
Red beard, so.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm the big bald fat guy when I describe myself. So if I'm not wearing a hat, then I'm the big bald fat guy. But anyway, let's talk about this Auburn team. 26-10 on the season, 9-6 in SEC play. They've beat a really good Oregon State team up in Arlington, took a series from Vandy. They did get swept by Georgia, but then they flip it around and sweep LSU, top 5 team at home over the weekend. Talk to us about this team. If we haven't seen them play, what should we be looking for out of this Auburn Tiger team this weekend?
Well, it was actually kind of surprising. I think the LSU series, you felt good for it being at home that we may be able to grab a series, just kind of sneak one out. But being able to sweep is even bigger. And yeah, it was. We haven't done that since 1988. Honestly, on paper, Auburn's a team that they're probably not gonna. You're not gonna see some stats jump out at you. But they managed to find things that click at the right time. We don't have a lot of home run power. We've actually been kind of trending downwards when it comes to home runs of recent. The bullpen and the starting has been just kind of a work in progress. We've really only had kind of one guy that's been steady the entire year as a starter in Samuel Dutton, our Friday night guy. He's a transfer from LSU. And we've just been kind of making things work. And, I think we kind of hit the lowest a little bit after that Georgia series, especially how those games were lost. I mean, you really thought we had a chance in that last game to maybe just steal a win. That's all we really wanted to do, I think, was just steal a win on the road from Georgia. But this past weekend, it really just kind of clicked. We started off with a good rivalry win against Georgia Tech in Atlanta, and the offense came out firing. And so I think, to me, the biggest change from that Georgia series to this LSU series has been a little bit more consistency with our bullpen. Now, though, it gets a little hairy sometimes, but we actually have been able to kind of link together and get some innings together and kind of limit those big innings. Because that's normally kind of been Auburn's crux for a lot of the season is things can snowball really fast on this team, especially we have some depth on the pitching staff, but we don't have a ton of it. And we've got a lot of new guys all over, not just in the bullpen, not just in the field. Like we basically have a ton of transfers and freshmen, almost revitalized the entire roster from last year, except for a couple core guys. And so you still got some guys that they're trying to find a place, trying to find some roles. There's some definition a little bit. The field's kind of set right now, but we've got some injuries to Cade Ballou and some other guys that have kind of shifted some things around. But you'll see we'll have a lot of true freshmen that are going to contribute on the mound and in the field. And you've got the whole mindset at the plate is just having good at bats, not being scared, not trying to always hit the ball out of the park, but just trying to link up. And on our side, just try to just breathe the next man up and make those big innings happen. We're not going to do it like Kentucky does. We're trying to cause chaos on the base path. We're trying to get good, solid hits. We're trying to hit the different gaps. And if we get a home run, we get a home run. But it's really just kind of keeping the pressure on by keeping the bats consistent and taking good pitches when you need to.
Yeah, you mentioned a guy I wanted to kind of talk about, so we'll kind of step into that real quick. Y'all's Friday night guy, pretty much a stud. Samuel Dutton, 50 innings pitched, 45 hits scattered over those 50 innings, 2.34 ERA, 13 earned runs, and 58 Ks. So, he's the guy when I was looking at stats this morning that really popped out to me from that pitching staff. Is there any other guys that are? I feel like maybe your Sunday guy has done all right, or maybe I'm making that up.
Well, our Sunday
Cade
guy's been
Fisher
really
with Saturday.
TV. Yeah, well, it's a couple different things. We came into the season with two really, we thought would be impact transfers on the mound. We're going to have Samuel Dutton, who transferred from LSU, and then Cade Fisher, transferring from Florida. Really talented left-handed guy. Cade has there's been some mechanical things that they were trying to work through him. And so he was really going in that you thought he would be kind of the ace going in that Saturday guy. His best outing was last Saturday where he went 5 innings. Because he's really just kind of been late developing. Sunday for us has just been TBA. And a lot of times right now it's been Andreas Alvarez, who's a freshman. He's just kind of been set in that role. It was Christian Chatterton, who was another true freshman, but he kind of struggled. So we're still probably going to be that Sunday TBA for a bit. It may change later. It definitely will probably change later as we get in that back half of the season that we're headed to, where you may have guys like Carson Myers or Parker Carlson kind of step up into that role. But Samuel Dutton being that anchor has really alleviated a lot of the pressure from other guys. And we're able to actually use guys in roles like a setup guy or a long relief. And it allows us to do more things in that Saturday and Sunday, where we really have just been, especially Saturday, just piecing things together and hoping the offense clicks. And if we're behind, we're not too far behind. And I really want to see how Fisher keeps developing. I know Everett Teepert, our pitching coach, and Butch have a really good plan for him, and they trust him, and they're relying on him. It may be frustrating a little bit as a fan, but we believe in him too. We had some folks at the deck that we have this big Diamond Club banquet, and he was the kind of the guy at the table, and so they got to know him, and so we really believe in him a little bit up at the deck, and it'll click a little bit. But for those in the pitching staff, we've got Dutton, and we're trying to have Hetzler be more of that closer, but we don't have any guy that's going to be set as like, this is the guy that we always want to get. It's going to be situational. And you'll see guys get extended saves and kind of play in the hot hand a little bit, because it's really our best strategy on the mound, is seeing how we can do matchups and do a little bit with whatever depth that we have on the mound.
The one guy that's kind of surprised me for Auburn is maybe like I expected more, but Ike Irish obviously had the big reputation last year.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't had quite the power numbers this year that I think a lot of people expected him to have at this juncture. He only has 7, which is like second or third on the team. But
yeah,
it's funny you mentioned the pitching, because last year is really what did Auburn's team in, was the pitching or the lack thereof. And then Butch was really like, hey, we got to change everything up. So, it's been fascinating to see the Dutton success, because he was kind of a bit part guy. I mean, he had his flashes at LSU, but he really didn't have a huge role. And the way he stepped up has been really impressive for y'all this year.
And it's been kind of a neat story with Dutton, because him and his brother both transferred here. His brother Andrew transferred from Birmingham Southern, and I think that was one of the reasons that they came, because Birmingham Southern shut down And so Andrew's looking for a home, and that is a good place for Samuel to land as well. For Ike's have really been, I don't remember which game it was specifically, but he's coming back from injury still. He fractured his scapula in his back, and that's why he hasn't caught for an extended period of time, and he's just been primarily our right fielder. And plus with his swing too, if you watch his swing sometimes, if he overextends, he can hit that area of his back again. And that's just how because he can hit it really to all fields, and he's a really solid hitter. And I think for him in the role that he has been put in, especially kind of in the 3-hole in the lineup, he's not being asked to hit a bunch of home runs. He's being asked to kind of set things up for McMurray behind him, and to, if Fabian's above him, to kind of bring him home. He's really that. We want him to start to churn things around, and so it's not being called anyway for him to be, we need you to hit it out each time. It's like, we just need you to make contact. We need you to keep the lineup churning, keep the lineup moving. And so that's really what he's been doing. He's got the capability, and we've seen it. McMurray has a lot of power. We've got Bub Terrell, who's a true freshman. He has tremendous power, but he is still a freshman, is still kind of developing into his own. But we don't have a ton of guys that you are going to be intimidated, I think, as a pitcher on the power side. But we've got a bunch of guys that it's going to be intimidating because they're going to battle for each at bat. And it's going to be annoying to face them because they're going to keep fouling off pitches, and they're not going to be scared of 2 strikes. They're really not going to be fooled a little bit. The guys do a really good job communicating with one another about what they're seeing. And Ike has kind of that catcher's eye, and so he's being able to relay a lot of stuff. What he's seeing, and with Chase Fralick, who's a true freshman, has become our everyday catcher, and he's been fantastic in that role. And one of the things that I think makes Auburn different from a lot of teams is Butch instills in the catchers and the pitchers to call their own pitches. Yeah, they do have the pitch com things and they can listen into it, but when it comes to what they want to call, the catchers are being asked to do that and to call it and then have a relationship with the pitcher. It's something Butch has believed in for years, to develop these guys as, if they go on to the pros, to kind of develop that a little bit. And you'll kind of see, they'll get vetoed every now and then by Tiefert or by Butch, or they'll have a plan going in. But we put a lot of faith in our catchers, and with Lucas Steele as a backup, Chase Fralick, who's been our everyday, and Ike, hopefully we'll get back to catching. That kind of is what Auburn's going to be known for, having that relationship with the pitchers and having knowing what each guy can bring when they're on the mound.
And is Cade Ballou still injured, or was he back this weekend?
He was not back this weekend, so he's had some back injury, and so he's been out for a bit. I don't know if he hasn't. People keep asking. Now people are paying attention to Texas around Auburn, because like, oh, we got to play Texas here. So they hear about Max Ballou, and they're like, "Are Cade and him related?" It's like,
yeah, they're not related.
I'm not sure. It's a very uncommon last name, but I think it's just maybe a distant cousin type deal. I don't know if we'll know more about him in the Jacksonville State game that we have on Tuesday. So if he pinch hits at all, then he's going to be 100% back, or he's going to be 90% back. So I'm not sure what his timetable is for coming back.
He was always one of those guys that when I saw him, he seemed like the glue guy. Like, he was the guy that kind of really made things happen, and just, if y'all needed a hit, he got that timely hit or that big, double, whatever else. So he was the guy that I kind of kept watching for a while.
Yeah, he's been very clutch, and we've kind of needed some of those guys to kind of step up, especially just with, like I said, the amount of true freshmen we were having to put on the field. And so you've kind of got this gap in between. We've got a lot of guys that have been in the program for 3-4 years, and this is their last season. And then we've got basically the other half are brand new, either from a transfer or from as a true freshman. And so we don't have anything in the middle, really. We just have a lot of guys that are old and a lot of guys that are young, and we're just kind of making it work.
Nice. So it sounds like from the discussion, if you guys do a 3 best after this one, it could be a very high likelihood that we're going to see Ike Irish, Cooper McMurray, and Samuel Dutton wind up on that list. Those seem to be the guys. I think, looking at it offensively, Irish and McMurray both hitting north of 3. I believe they're both hitting north of 360, both over 1,000 OPS. So those are y'all's guys. I mean, they combine for a lot of y'all's slugging offensively. So Texas fans should certainly be watching for those 3 guys as they come to the Dish this weekend.